get started. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Boniface. Thank you for that introduction. And the reason for that is essentially because a good number of the students here are, from the education program, and Boniface is the program manager at Education. At Education. Education is an organization that supports bright students from across the country and also internationally to undertake their high school education. So that's the reason as to why, I wanted Boniface to introduce himself. And then, so from there, I would like to introduce my colleague from Global Ed Bridge and Accountability Buddies, Patricia. So Patricia, kindly introduce yourself, say hi before we get on with the program.
Hi, Amos. I hope I am clear and my background is not that noisy. Thank you. My name is Patricia Mativo, and I'm a co-founder of Global Ed Bridge, and I'm working together with Amos. And yeah, we're looking forward to sharing with you insights on how best to transition from, let's say, because I know most of the alumni here are from high school, so basically transitioning into postgrad and other funded opportunities abroad, not just overseas, but also within the continent. And yeah, I look forward to discussing that together with Amos. Just to check, Amos, do you have control over the slides?
Yes, I do have control over the slides. Can you see them moving?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, that's amazing. So thank you so much, Patricia, for setting the tone. And from here, I would like to start by introducing myself because I realize I haven't introduced myself. So my name is Amos Bungei, and as Patricia mentioned, we are co-founders of Global Ed Bridge. And what Global Ed Bridge is essentially, it's a platform for, students, professionals who would like to essentially study abroad, who are dreaming about studying abroad. We would like to support you in various ways, which we will show you, across our presentation. And, we are partnering with organizations such as Education, capitalizing on, the number of students and, the number of people that they have already. And we will be working with a number of different stakeholders to ensure that these opportunities regarding scholarships come as close, to students that we work with as much as possible. And I am a graduate research fellow at Syracuse University. I studied at Syracuse University. I've been studying at Syracuse University since 2023. Recently graduated with my master's, and I'll be moving forward along the same path. And, if that's something that is of interest to you, if you would like to follow a similar path, then you are essentially in the right place. It's all about expanding your horizons. It's all about traveling the world in a way, and a global education, an international education, you being an international student somewhere, in the US, in the UK, in India, and China, broadens your horizons, I would say, and broadens, all the things across your life, from what you think about the opportunities that you can essentially get and things like that. So that's what Global Ed Bridge is in a nutshell, and that is me. And that is Patricia. Patricia, did you already mention, where you studied and the kind of scholarship that you got? Feel free to come in.
Okay, thank you so much, Amos. Once again, my name is Patricia Mativo, and I've just recently completed my master's from the University of Oxford through the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship. And I think my journey began just here in Kenya when I started pursuing my Bachelor's of Science in Analytical Chemistry. And after my bachelor's, I was very keen and interested in pursuing my further studies. And I decided to source for scholarships that could support my transition into master's. And I was able to get a couple of them as far as Hungary and of course as far as in the UK through the University of Oxford, where I did my MSc in Environmental Change and Management. And because of the experiences that I went through in sourcing for scholarships, and there are points where I had minimal support in understanding how that whole landscape how the landscape was. And therefore, I decided to promise myself that I was going to support any other people who would want to understand how that scholarship landscape is and how to look for the right scholarships, to look for the right universities, make the correct applications to the universities, because at times, depending on the scholarship that you want, you need to make an application to the university first, or maybe apply to the scholarship independently. So because now I believe I have the right skills in understanding how that landscape is, that's why I partnered with Amos and other few colleagues to support other people who'd want to get into that space that we are in right now, and for it not to feel intimidating. Because again, maybe for some of you here, when you hear University of Oxford, you feel like it's something that it's a university that's not really reachable, or it's just for a certain group of people. But today I'll tell you that that's not the case. It's for anyone who would want to go to the university, and so long as they make the best application and apply it with all the might that they have and get the right support, then it's as easy as getting to let me say UN, but do not quote me. But that's how I'd want you guys to feel after this session, that getting yourself into this space of sourcing for scholarships and for getting postgrad studies, or probably undergrad opportunities overseas across the continent in Africa as well. It's something that it's easily manageable, and I believe we'll have the right support from me and Amos and our other colleagues. So feel free to ask us questions along the way. And today we're just going to give you a brief of some of the scholarships that we are aware of, because we can't exhaust every scholarship, but basically to just give you a rough idea of how that is. For example, I, as a Mastercard Foundation Scholar, I will definitely talk about the Mastercard Foundation, not just in Oxford University, but with also the other partner universities that it has. And of course, Amos will talk about his scholarship, and we'll also give a slide that will have some few other scholarships that maybe you don't know about. And then later you could ask us questions. So it's not going to be like a full info session on understanding completely the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship or the Fulbright, but it's basically to give you an idea of where to start thinking, or the things that you need to start giving more focus on in terms of your preparations for those who want to start the application soon, given that for this new academic year starting in September, most of the applications have been closed. However, applications will begin soon again for the next academic year, 2026. And that's how easy or complicated this process is. You need to start sowing seeds as early as now for you if you're aiming to get into the next academic year. So please just feel free to ask any random questions, random as it can get. And yeah, I think I'll take it over to Amos.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for giving us that breakdown, Patricia. Wonderful. So we'll get on straight to the agenda. I hope we've had some interesting introductions. We would like to also get to know you after this session, after giving that brief breakdown during the Q&A session, especially. So we'll go straight to the agenda. These some of the things that we'll be covering. Of course, we've introduced Global EdBridge. We'll talk about how we can support you. We will share some sample scholarships, and then we'll go straight to a Q&A session, because I'm pretty sure some of you, have already started this journey or have already thought about starting this journey. And we're here to find a way to connect with you further, even through, one-on-one sessions, so that we can assist you across that journey. So about Global EdBridge, that's our mission, that's our vision. We envision a world where talented students from underrepresented communities have the support and opportunity to access transformative education. And the reason as to why I say this is because from my experience and Patricia's experience, and across, many other alumni, education, and also just beyond education, when you go to places like Oxford, Harvard, Syracuse University, and all other major universities in the US, the UK, what you find is there's underrepresentation of people from East Africa, people from Kenya, people from Africa in general. And there are opportunities, there are different scholarships that, as Africans, we can take advantage of. And specifically as Kenyans, we can take advantage of to get to those places. And there are so many advantages of going to those places, which we will share with you as we go through, our presentation. And essentially, this is how Global EdBridge can support you. We support you through mentorship, in the sense that once we've connected with you on a one-on-one basis, we will give you mentorship, resources, and help you craft strong applications for, to both scholarships and universities. We also do essay reviews. We will be matching you with experts, quote unquote experts in this case, which are students who have gone through the same journey, essentially, who have written essays, and they have, been admitted, or rather winning essays, and they've been admitted to different universities, or rather have received different scholarships. Will also help you prepare for interviews. And this is very, very important, because this is what seals the deal. So once you have applied to a scholarship and they think that your documents, or rather your essays and your application, is very, very strong, the next step would be interviews. So we will help you prepare, know essentially what some of the do's and the don'ts during these interviews, what could be your strategy that you could use to approach these interviews for a successful interview. And finally, community access. We will help you get matched to, different opportunities, and also just networking opportunities before you travel abroad, or even as you are in Kenya, to help you expand your horizons as far as this journey is concerned. So without further ado, I would like to start talking about a couple of the scholarships that we think, could be a good starting point for many of us. So on the left, of course, and this is just to give you the difference, or rather to help you see the contrast in terms of scholarships. And this will essentially inform what your strategy should be when you are applying to these scholarships. So for example, on the left side, you can see the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship, which is what Trisha has, which is what Trish, got. And you can see what the Mastercard Scholarship is all about. It's designed to develop the next generation of transformative leaders by enabling high talented, service-oriented young people. So when you think about Mastercard, think about leadership. When you go to Rhodes Scholarship, which is open at the moment, and Trish and I will be organizing a specific session for Rhodes Scholarship, which is open at the moment, open to applications. It's a fully funded postgraduate scholarship to study specifically at Oxford. And, this is one of the differences between scholarships that I would like you guys to note and see. Mastercard is across a spectrum of universities, but for the Rhodes Scholarship is specifically for Oxford. When you think about Fulbright, which is essentially what I won, the whole goal of the Fulbright Scholarship is to increase mutual understanding and support between the United States and other countries. So in this case, it's Kenya. So if you're someone who would like to work within diplomacy, or rather using education, research, and just your life as potentially as a tool for diplomacy, and you can communicate that, then Fulbright is your scholarship, the scholarship that you can go for. And this is, you can get this scholarship across several universities in the USA. And then finally, the Chevening Scholarship. This one is in the UK, and it's for people who show potential. And most of the time, Chevening is for people who've had some work experience, people who are professionals within a specific sector, and they would like to further their studies in the UK. And then, of course, we will talk about many other scholarships, but those are just some sample scholarships. So for us to move forward, I would like to welcome Trish, who will give you some insights into the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship as we move forward. So Trish, welcome.
Thank you, Amos. So when you're thinking about Mastercard Foundation Scholarship, it's also a prestigious scholarship, just like any other scholarship. I mean, any full funded scholarship for me is prestigious. And so I will try to explain it with the context of Mastercard Foundation in Oxford, but also as Mastercard Foundation Global. So Mastercard Foundation Scholarship has several partner institutions. And so with this in particular, for the scholarship that we're going to give you a brief about, we're going to talk about the overview, the eligibility, the coverage, and bonuses in terms of any other benefits that you get. So for Mastercard Foundation, it has partner institutions in about 29 institutions, and one of them is Oxford. And it's in several countries, such as the UK, of course. In the UK, again, it has several institutions. For example, there's Cambridge, there's Oxford, there is Edinburgh. Then you can go all the way to Canada. There is Arizona State University. Then also in Africa, where we have several institutions such as the Cape Town University and many other universities in South Africa. We have here in Kenya, in particular, we have the USIU, where they have partnered with. Then in Uganda, there's Makerere. So basically what I'm trying to say is Mastercard is all over. And for this particular scholarship, you don't apply to Mastercard Foundation as the global team. So it all depends with how they've partnered with institutions. For example, in my institution, that's Oxford University, you don't have to apply to Mastercard Foundation. Basically, you have to be shortlisted first for a program by the university. And once you qualify, then Mastercard Foundation through the AFOX, which is Africa Initiative in Oxford, will reach out to you for an interview. But then the other institutions, for example, Cambridge and Edinburgh, where you have to apply separately. So again, when you're thinking of this particular scholarship, don't think of it as you go to Mastercard and apply for it. No, you have to go to the institution that you want to apply to, get to see the requirements. Some of them would require you to apply before the end of the program application. For example, if a program application is due maybe in November, then some of them would want you to submit for your application maybe before even mid-November. They have specific dates. So you have to be keen with your research in terms of where you want to go. That is in terms of institutions. Do you want to study here in Kenya through USIU? Do you want to go to Arizona State Universities, or do you want to go to Kwame Nkrumah? Then every university has their own criteria on how they absorb students, because then they just give money. So of course, it's a fully funded program, and depending on the institution, some institutions take in undergrads, and some don't take undergrads. For example, Oxford University does not take undergrads, but when you go to Edinburgh Uni, they take undergrads. When you go to Science Port, they also take undergrads. Yeah, so again, you have to be very keen with the institutions that you want to go to and the program that you want to. If it's a master's or it's an undergrad, then you have to be specific with where you'd want to go and be keen with how Mastercard operates there. As I said earlier, it has 29 partner institutions, which hopefully before the end of this session, I'll be able to share a link or the full page of Mastercard Foundation, where they list their partner institutions and what they support in those institutions. And some institutions have focus areas. Some don't want to just focus on tech and innovation. Like, for example, Arizona State University right now, they are very keen on just taking students who are doing anything to do with tech and innovation. But then you have the University of Edinburgh, where they take people who would want to pursue courses around sustainability, food security, health. I mean, there is much more that they've listed on the web pages. So that's why, again, it's very keen for you not to go only to the Mastercard Foundation page, but also to the institution and see what they want in those institutions. Then in Oxford, I would say it's more of general, but of course, I would want to see that focus of you wanting to support, Africa's agenda in terms of the global challenges, if it's in climate, if it's in health, if it's in political instability and all those kind of things that the continent is experiencing, then Oxford will be willing to support students who want to pursue anything addressing, let's say, the SDGs or social challenges in Africa. And of course, one of the key things that they look into is not just anyone who's bright, not just anyone who has a first class or a second class upper. With Mastercard Foundation in Oxford in particular, because you have to first be accepted by the university before you get the scholarship. So depending with the program that you want, some programs are very keen on just taking, let's say, first class only. But there are also many other programs that are very keen on taking people who have second upper and have potential in leadership and other experiences in terms of work. So please take note of that.
Patricia, but Patricia, if I may just quickly ask you a question regarding Oxford. What would you say for someone who is in Kenya, for a student, for example, who is in Kenya, maybe they finished their undergrad, maybe 1 or 2 years of experience. What would you say is the best strategy in terms of winning this scholarship? Is it aligning with the mission, maybe going to look at the mission and the vision of the scholarship and trying to align that goal with your own personal goal and craft an application that is in line with that? Or what would you say is the one thing that makes an application to the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship stand out?
I mean, of course, everybody has their own mission, but again, the scholarship has its own mission and vision. So it's more of aligning your goals to theirs as well, because they have put aside funds to support certain challenges let's say, certain challenges in Africa. And therefore, they'll look for, let me call them partners who are now students who would want to go and pursue these certain programs that will help them into meeting the mission and the vision and all the other agendas. So at the end of the day, you might have a very big vision, but it's you aligning it towards the scholarship ones. So that's why I said about Mastercard Foundation, it's very keen that you discuss about issues affecting Africa. So in whatever program you want to do, then you have to align it into something that is affecting Africa, and basically you bringing in solutions and showing that you can bring leadership in supporting Africa and in its all diversity, if I'm to say. So you'll bring more of your questions later. But anyway, so this scholarship in particular is not limited to, it's not limited, but mostly it supports young women, also people from refugees and asylum seekers, and also young persons with disabilities. But I'm saying it's not just these particular groups, but it also supports boys and men. So for them, for the mission is more of young people, but they take both. So don't get misguided by saying, oh, Trish said it's only for young women and asylum seekers. No, they're very keen. Basically, they encourage these marginalized groups to apply because they keep getting more applications and they're very keen on getting these other people more. So if you're in this group and you fall in any of these categories, then you equally qualify for the scholarship. So eligibility, of course, you have to be an African citizen, young people, that is between 35 and 15. So for some undergrad courses, they are very keen on not taking maybe people above 26 years of age. That is for undergrad. But generally, Mastercard Foundation sponsors youths as per the African unit 35 and below. And could be first class and second upper, but you have to show